Good morning, children. I am happy to see you all through this video. We are dealing with real numbers, our first chapter. So far, we have completed exercise 1.2. First 4 sums we have completed. We have 3 more sums, 5, 6, 7. We'll do all the 3 sums in this particular class. Okay. So I hope you have completed homework. Some of you are not watching the videos and you are not completing the homework. So please keep in mind we are checking the attendance. Okay, we are checking those who are commenting your names in the videos and those who are submitting the homework. So please be sincere in seeing the videos as well as doing the homework, because we will consider that. Okay, we will consider that for your internals. So please be sincere. Okay, so now let us go to exercise 1.2. Exercise 1.2. Take your book. Page number 11. Page number 11. Exercise 1.2. Fifth sum. Okay. So fifth sum. Page number 11. Take your textbook. Very easy sum, but important sum. Important 2 mark sum. Let me read the sum. Check whether 6 power n can end with digit 0. 6 power n can end with the digit 0 for any natural number n. The question is, check whether 6 power n can end with digit 0 for any natural number n. Okay, so it is given 6 power n. You have to check whether it ends with digit 0. Okay, so the concept is very simple. You know, if any number ends with digit 0, if any number except 0, if any other number ends with digit 0, then that number is definitely divisible by 10. Or otherwise, that number is a multiple of 10. For example, 50 ends with 0, 50 is divisible by 10. 2560, that also ends with 0, that is also divisible by 10. Okay, so the clue is any number that ends with digit 0 is a multiple of 10. Okay, multiple of 10 means that is divisible by 10. Multiple of 10 means that is divisible by 10. So how will we check whether we don't know the n value? It is given n is any natural number. So how will we check that? How will we check whether for any natural number n, the 6 power n ends with digit 0. So how will we check? We can check in this way. You know, if it ends with digit 0, it is a multiple of 10. Or in other words, 10 is one of the factor of this number. Okay. So if 10 is one of the factor, then 10 is equal to, how can we express 10 in terms of prime factor? 10 is equal to 2 into 5. 10 is equal to 2 into 5. Therefore, I am writing it very detailed, okay, so that you can understand. Therefore, if the number should end with digit 0, it must have 2 and 5 as the factor, because 10 is equal to 2 into 5. Okay, so if 6 power n should end with, are you all following? It's very easy. If it should end with digit 0, it should be divisible by 10. That is, it should have the factor 2 and 5. At least one factor, at least 1, 2 and at least 1, 5. Okay, so should end with digit 0. It must have 2 and 5 as factor. Now, how will we check whether it has 2 and 5 as factor? So the number is 6 power n. How can we express 6 as a product of prime factors? So 6 can be expressed as 6 divisible by 2. Answer is 3. 3 is a prime number. So 6 equal to 2 into 3. You need not write this much detail for a 2-mark question. Since I am teaching now for the first time, I am explaining you in detail. Understood? So now, therefore, 6 equal to 2 into 3. Okay, 6 can be represented as 2 into 3. Therefore, 6 power n is equal to 2 into 3 whole power n. So now check. It should have 2 and 5 as factor. Here 2 is there, but 5 is not there. In 6 power n, 2 is there. See, whatever the n value may be, the same prime factor will repeat. If n is 2, then 2 into 3 into 2 into 3. If n is 4, 2 into 3 into 2 into 3 into 2 into 3 into 2 into 3, 4 times. That means it has the prime factor 2, but it does not have the factor 5. Okay, so 6 power n does not have 5 as factor. Therefore, it doesn't end with digit 0. Okay, therefore, you directly write from the question. Therefore, 6 power n cannot end with digit 0 for any natural number n. Understood or not? It's very simple. They may give any number. Instead of 6 power n, they may give 9 power n, or they may give 4 power n. One example sum is there, 4 power n. Whatever it may be, if it should end with digit 0, it should be divisible by 10, which means it should have 2 and 5 as factor. So you split the number, you split the given composite number as a product of prime number, and you check whether 2 and 5 are there. If both 2 and 5 are there, then it is divisible by, then it ends with digit 0. If either 2 or 5 is missing, therefore it does not end with digit 0. Understood? So very easy question. Please copy it down. So whatever it may be given, 4 power n. 4 power n means 4 is equal to 2 into 2. Here also 5 is missing. 9 power n means 3 into 3. Here 2 also missing, 5 also missing. Okay. So important 2-mark question. Please note it down. Okay children. Now the sixth sum. The sixth sum is asked like that. Explain why 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13 and another term 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5 are composite numbers. Two numbers are given, the numbers are not directly given, but you have to prove that, or you have to tell that why it can be called as, or how it can be called as composite number. We are going to use this concept, the prime factorization. You know the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The fundamental theorem of arithmetic, it says that every composite number can be expressed as product of prime numbers. Therefore, if you can express this value as a product, here these are product, but this addition is there now. You have to convert this also into product, and if you can express this whole term as a product of primes, then you can say that this is a composite number, because a composite number is a product of prime number. Understood or not? Okay, we will solve one sum, then you will understand. So now, first take the first one. The first one, that is 7 into 11 into 13 plus 30. Okay. So how can we express this as a product of prime? First you see, two numbers are same, isn't it? 13 and 13. but one is in product, in multiplication, another one is in addition. Therefore, what you have to do, please listen. The same numbers are there now. Among that product number you take outside. Product number you are taking outside, like commonly outside. But normally, if everything is in addition, you know how to take. But here, some are in multiplication, but one value is in addition. So how will you do? This 13 is taken outside. Now, these two are in products now. So here also you will write them as product only, not as addition. Understood? So now okay. 13 into 7 into 11. Over. Now this is plus 13, but you are taking 13 commonly outside. So write plus 13 is here. If you take 13 commonly outside, remaining what is that? Remaining 1. Understood? You may find something confused. No need to confuse. These are all in products, but this value is in addition. So which two values are same? Among that product value you take outside. The remaining values are in product, so write directly. But this value is in addition, plus 13 you have already taken commonly outside, so it will come plus 1. Okay, you may have doubt. Sir, if we do like whether the answer won't change or what will happen? Shall we check that? Okay, so we will check that. 5 into 2 plus 5. 5 into 2 plus 5. So what is the answer? 5 into 2 is 10. 10 plus 5, answer is 50. Shall we try? Check that in our method. So 5 and 5 are the same. So I am writing that 5. I am taking commonly outside 5. This 2 is in multiplication. So I am writing in multiplication. Then plus is there. It is in plus. 5 I have already taken outside. So out of 5, 5 taken outside means remaining only 1 will be there. Remaining 1 is there. That is 5 into 2 plus 1, 3. That is equal to 50. 15, 15 same na? Now you understood this step is correct or not? Yeah, we are going to do like this one. Which two numbers are same? Among that the product you take outside. Okay. So now we will continue. Therefore, this is equal to 13 into 7 into 11 is 77. 7 into 11 is 77 plus 1. Understood? So that is equal to 13 into 77 plus 1 is 78. We need to express this as a product of prime. 13 is a prime number, but 78 is not a prime number because 78 is divisible by 2. Therefore, what we can do? 13 into, we will do the prime factorization of 78. Factorization. 78 divided by 2 is 39. 39 is not divisible by 2, but 39 is divisible by 3. 39 divided by 3 is 13. 13 is a prime number. Therefore, 78 can be written as 2 into 3 into 13. 2 into 3 into 13. Therefore, instead of 78, we can write 2 into 3 into 13. This value only I am writing. Now, therefore, this given question, given value, now it is expressed as a product of prime. This is equal to 2 into 3 into 13 is that 2 times. So 13 power 2. Therefore, it is the given number. Given number is a what number? Is a composite number. Why? Since it can be expressed as a product of prime number. Since it can be expressed as a product of primes. Understood or not? Therefore, the given number can be expressed as a product of prime. Okay. So in the same manner, we can do the next sum. Understood? In the same manner, we can do the next sum also. Okay. Shall we do the next sum? Next sum in the another one. This. Okay. So we will do that. Okay. So now this one. What is that? 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5. Isn't it? Is that the question? Yeah. Now, here 5 and 5 are the same. Therefore, as usual, we will take the 5 commonly outside. 5 into remaining 7 product, 6 product. This 5 already taken, leave it. 4 product, 3 product, 2 product, 1 product. Then plus is there. Plus out of this 5, 5 is taken commonly outside. So remaining is 1. Okay. So that is equal to 5 into, we have to multiply this. 7 6 are 42. 4 3s are 12. 12 2s are 24 plus 1. So 42 into 24 plus 1, that is equal to 5 into 42 into 24. How much? 16 4 8. So 1008. 42 into 24 is 1008. So 1008 plus, here one is there, 1008 plus 1, that is equal to 5 into 1009. You know 5 is a prime number. What about 1009? Check. 1009 is not divisible by 2. Whether it is divisible by 3, 10 by 3, 3, remaining 1, 10, again 10 by 3, 3, remaining 1, 19. 19 is not divisible. So it is not divisible by 3. It is not divisible by 4. It is not divisible by 5. Whether it is divisible by 6? No. 7, 1009 by 3, 7, 10 by 3, 1 time, 30, 4 time, 29. 29 is not divisible by 7. Therefore, it is not divisible by 7. If you check that, you will find that this number is not divisible by any other number except 1 and 1009. Okay. So 1000, therefore 1009 is a prime number. Okay. Therefore, the answer is equal to 5 into 1009. This is a product of primes because 1009 is a prime number. Therefore, the given number is expressed as a product of primes. Therefore, the given number is a composite number. Why it is a composite number means it can be expressed as a product of primes. It can be expressed as a product of primes. That is why it is called as composite number. Okay? So please copy it down. Okay children, now let us look at the last sum, the seventh sum of exercise 1.2. With this the exercise will get over. So please listen, it's a word problem. It says that there is a circular path around a sports field. So there is a right here. There is a circular path around a sports field. Maybe this is a sports field. So there is a circular path. Sonia takes 18 minutes to drive one round of the field. So there is a girl named Sonia. She took 18 minutes to drive one round of the field. Means if she starts from here, in 18 minutes she again finishes here. Okay, this is Sonia. Then Ravi takes 12 minutes for the same. Ravi, he starts from here and ends here at just 12 minutes. Ravi takes only 12 minutes. So what you have to find? Suppose they both start at the same point. They both start at the same point at same time and go in the same direction. They both go in the same direction, same place, same time. Then after how many minutes will they meet again at the starting point? They are going like this continuously, same time, 12 minutes. Ravi, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes. Sonia, 18 minutes, 18 minutes, 18 minutes. So the question is, after how many minutes they will meet again at the starting point? Not just crossing anywhere, they should meet at the starting point. So, whenever in real numbers word problem is given, you should understand either you have to find LCM or you have to find HCF. The two numbers, Ravi 12 minutes, Sonia 18 minutes. So the numbers are 12 and 18. Either you have to find HCF or LCM. I already told you, if some maximum value or anything is asked, you have to find HCF, highest common factor. If some minimum value anything is asked, you have to find LCM. But here no maximum minimum is given. You should not simply see the question and decide. You have to analyze the question. They both start at the same point. You have to find after how many minutes they will meet again. So you have to find the minimum time in which they can meet again. So after how many minutes they will meet again means you have to find the minimum time taken by them to meet again. So minimum means LCM or HCF? Minimum means LCM. Therefore it's very simple. You have to find the, we need to find the LCM of 12 and 18 to find the answer. So if this is difficult for you, you think like that. Sonia takes 18 minutes, Ravi takes 12 minutes. So within 18 minutes they could never meet at the starting point, because when Ravi at 12 minutes Ravi would be here, Sonia would be lagging behind. At 18 minutes Ravi would be leading somewhere here, Sonia would be waiting in the would be lying in the starting point. Therefore within 18 minutes there is no chance that they will meet. Therefore answer will be definitely more than 18. Answer will be definitely more than 18. I told you LCM will be always greater than or equal to the highest number. HCF will be always less than or equal to the lowest number. But now the answer is surely greater than 18, because they can never meet at the starting point before 18 minutes. Therefore LCM only. How LCM? Because the answer will be greater than 18. Among LCF and HCF, which one will be greater? 18 is the highest number now. Which one will be greater than? Which one can be greater than the highest number? Only LCM can be greater than the highest number. HCF is always less than the highest number. Understood? Therefore you have to find the LCM. This is also a clue. Okay. So LCM of 12 and 18. Okay. We can do that using prime factorization, or any method you can use, but now we are dealing with prime factorization. So 12 and 18. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 is not divisible by 2 but divisible by 3. 9 divisible by 3 is 3. Therefore 12 is equal to 2 into 3. That is 2 power 2 into 3. Then 18 is equal to 2 into 3 into 3. 18 is equal to 2 into 3 into 3. That is equal to 2 into, how many times 3 is there? How many times 3? 2 times. So 3 power 2. Now, therefore, LCM of 12 and 18 is equal to, we already did this. HCF means only the common factor you have to consider and you have to take the least power. But LCM means all the factors. What are the factors here? 2 and 3. So you can write 2 also, you can write 3 also. Other factors are not here. And you have to write the greatest power. In 2, this is 2, 2 power 1, this is 2 power 2. So 2 power 2 is the greatest power. Here, this is 3 power 2, this is 3, that is 3 power 1. 3 power 1, 3 power 2. Which one is greatest? LCM means greatest power you have to consider. So 3 power 2. That is equal to 2 power 2 into 3 power 2. 2 power 2 is 4. 2 2s are 4 na? 2 2s are 4. 3 power 2 is 3 3s are 9. So 4 into 9, that is equal to 36. Answer is equal to 36, which means finally you write a statement. Ravi and Sonia will meet at the starting point after 36 minutes. This is dealing with minutes na. So finally you can write. Therefore, what is the question? After how many minutes they will meet again at the starting point? So they will meet again at the starting point after how many minutes? After LCM value is 36 minutes. Is it clear? So word problems answer will be easy, but you should analyze the question and find whether we need to find the LCM or HCM. When you analyze the question, if some least value or minimum value is asked, you have to apply LCM. If some highest value, maximum value is asked, you have to find the HCM. Understood or not? So that's all. So we have completed 5th sum and we have completed 6th sum and 7th sum. Okay. So with this exercise, exercise 1.2 is over. I think this much is enough for today's class. Exercise 1.3 starts with some theorems. We may have to prove some square root of, for example, we may have to prove that root 2 is irrational. We will deal with irrational number. We have to prove that root 2 is irrational, root 3 is irrational, root 5 is irrational. We will see that in the next chapter. Okay. So that's all for today's class. Today no homework can be given because we have completed all the questions. You just go through the examples given in exercise 1.3. Just go through the examples given in exercise 1.3, that is under the topic revisiting irrational numbers. Just go through that and I will see you in the next class. Okay. Thank you.